everyone, and welcome back to this video. We're gonna dive into 17 management features that were revealed or explained in Frontier's third deep dive that focused on management. So if you really love the management aspect of these games, let's dive in. First, we start with research blueprints. In the game, you're gonna be able to research blueprints and unlock them as you progress through career mode in something that looks like a sequential path. So as you accumulate points and you play the career mode, you're gonna be able to unlock these blueprints sequentially. Then we go to notifications. You will have multiple categories of notifications, you can see them over here, and you will also have one tab for all your notifications, and you may also see some special categories for very important notifications, like when staff is fired or something very important happening in your park. That's super important to stay on track on what's happening. Then we see park expansion. Now you will be able to buy sections of land. So you will be able to expand your park beyond what we initially have as an area for building our park. But there will be limitations on different bits of land. Like, for example, in some terrains, you may not be able to build pools. You may not be able to place scenery. And that's really great because it gives us like more challenging aspects of management here. We need to carefully analyze the land before we buy it. Then we see park options. In the park options, we will be able to set the ticket prices, the price of the pool pass, the price of the priority pass, and we will also be able to check the park rating. In the park rating, we will have different categories. If you're new to Planet Coaster, this will be really interesting. Like we have the attraction prestige, the scenery rating, the unique attractions, and park reputation. So all of them will combine to create the park rating, and the one that is the lowest one will have the highest impact in the overall park rating. Then we go to accessibility. We will be able to increase the size of the UI, like the buttons and the text, and that is super nice. I wear glasses myself, so that is something that I really appreciate on every game. Thank you, Frontier, for giving us that option. After that, we go to heat maps. Heat maps are super nice. I love them in Planet Zoo, and it's great that we have them in Planet Coaster too. With the heat maps, we will be able to check guest mood, their hunger, thirst, and their tolerance. In tolerance, we have different levels, like tolerance to panic, to nausea, to ride height. So if you make a ride too tall, the people won't choose it if that's not what they prefer. They will also have a tolerance to ride speed, to queues, like waiting times in queues, and to G-forces. You will have to build rides and coasters that cater to different types of guests. We also have heat maps for the staff, like staff morale, staff pay, and staff breaks. We also have heat maps for tracking the different services in the park, like power and water itself, and water cleanliness. We can track profit, scenery, and the operations, like the condition of a ride if it needs repair soon or if it's already broken, and pool safety if we are covering the area of the pool with the lifeguards. Then we go to a very important aspect of management, which is power. We will be able to place a power generator, and then we will need to connect that to a power distributor. The generator and the distributor will create that network as we connect them. The distributor will have a radial effect, and so where we place them will have to be strategic, and we can check the number of items that are connected to the distributor plus the capacity of the distributor, because it will have a capacity and we won't be able to support more items than the capacity of the distributor, so that's another great layer of management. We also have the option to place solar panels, but they are more expensive to place and maintain. So we have that green option, but we have to take care of that in the finances. Then we go to weather. In this deep dive, we saw a little bit about the weather. I'm hoping we will see more details in the fourth deep dive. But here we saw again the possibility of getting sunburn due to heat. We also saw that we will be able to sell umbrellas for people to buy them when it's raining or when it's too hot. We will be selling sun cream to avoid sunburn. And we also saw the weather forecast, where we can see the forecasted weather for a specific day, so we have predictability there, and that will be really nice to prepare for it. Then we have guest mood. Guest mood will evolve over time as guests enter the park and interact with the rides. They will enter in a relatively happy or stable mood, And then their mood will evolve. They can be happy, excited, bored, unhappy, uncomfortable, and desperate. So we have a wide range of moods to take care of and to address in the park. The rides and the overall experience will affect their mood. Then we saw mascots and new staff. We saw 2 new staff members. First of all, the lifeguards, of course, because we have pools. Lifeguards should be near pools. They will increase the safety ratings of the pools, and they will be manageable staff. We will need to hire them one by one. Lifeguard posts have a safety area that cover part of the pool, and if you're not covering the entire pool, that will affect the safety rating of the pool. The ride attendants as well will be manageable staff now, so we're not going to just place the ride and they will be there all the time. We will need to manage their schedules and when they are working and their moods. So that is great. I love that new layer of the management. And then we saw some mascots. We saw 2 new mascots. Crescendo Melodies, which is like the new mascot, I think, from the mythology theme. And then we saw the Viking. We have male and female variations for these mascots, and they appear randomly as you place them. Really nice. Then we have staff zones, which now work similarly to like the districts. If you've played City Skylines, you will be familiar with this. Like, you're going to paint where the staff are going to work. The staff that you assign to that specific area or zone will not leave the zone in the blocks that you set for their work. The staff zones work very closely with schedulers, because now we have a new staff scheduler. The scheduler is a super nice idea that I absolutely love. We will use it to manage staff per time block. So we can include like breaks, and we can choose the work hours and the work zones for a specific time block for a specific staff member. So that's super like micromanagement, something that I absolutely love. We will be able to customize the individual tasks of each employee per time block. So if we want to go simple, we can go simple, but if we want to go really detailed, we can go really detailed. We can like select if a janitor is going to empty trash bins, or if it's going to clean, or the different tasks that you can see over here. We can toggle them on or off, which is amazing. Then we see tolerance. We have an aspect of tolerance in the rides, like we can see the results of the testing process of the ride and roller coaster, and guests will match their preferences and initial tolerance to the rides. So if you make rides that are super like wild or too intensive, too tall, too fast, and people are just not happy with that, they won't ride that ride. So it's super important to cater to all types of guests, which is super realistic. I personally wouldn't ride a really wild ride in the real life, so I think it's really nice that they added this layer of management. And then we go to, I think, one of the aspects that I love the most about this deep dive, which is food restrictions. Food restrictions are now a thing in Planet Coaster 2. We can customize menu items, we can change their prices, and we can choose extras for the different menu items. But choosing these extras also alter the diet requirements of that item. Like, for example, if you add something that has gluten in it, it will add that restriction to the menu item, and you will be restricting that item to people who can't eat gluten. You will also have like meat restrictions, dietary restrictions, so it's super detailed, a super nice addition that I loved in the game, because personally I have like some food preferences and restrictions, so I can totally relate to that. And guests will choose based on their restrictions. When they enter the park, they will already have these restrictions set, so that is awesome. Great, so after the food restrictions, we also saw a little bit more about the water system, which works very similar to the power system. We have a well and a pump. They both draw water from like the underground water. They're like the power generators, but the water generators. And we have a water distributor that should be near pools because it has a radius of effect. Dirty pools will have green water. They will eventually become like green, and guests won't enter it if it's not filtered correctly. So water cleanliness will also play a very important role, and you should keep in mind that flumes will also require water filtration, so it should be within the area of coverage of the water distributors. So that's really nice, something to keep in mind. And finally, we have the last 2 aspects of the management deep dive. We have maintenance of the facilities, like not the actual maintenance of the park, but maintenance of the facilities. The facilities will degrade over time, like they will need some maintenance and repair, like a scheduled maintenance. If not, the device will just break down and they will need servicing. Servicing that we can control by assigning mechanics in the staff scheduler and assigning them to the different staff zones. So that's another thing that we will need to manage to avoid the rides breaking down and just closing and us losing money. And guests going home really angry. So we need to keep the mechanics working on that, and we can always call them as an emergency if we need emergency help with that. And finally, we have finances, because now we have graphs. Like we have park value, park cash, and profit breakdown. These will be graphs that we can check as the park evolves. They will be filled with data as we play more and more in the park, and we will start to see the different trends in the data and what we have to do to improve our finances. We can also take loans. That's nice. If we are short on money, we can take some loans and we can pay it off through sales cut. So the loan will be paid automatically. In the example they showed, it was taking like a sales cut of 21% per sale. This will really depend on the loan amount, but you can also pay it out manually by choosing an amount to pay at a specific time, but that is like a secondary option. By default, it will be paid through a sales cut. Those are the 17 management aspects of the deep dive that I wanted to share with you. I really loved this deep dive. I do think that for new Planet Coaster players like me, or for anyone who is like interested in Planet Coaster 2 and loves management, this deep dive really showed some great aspects. Maybe we have heard of some of them previously, but in this deep dive we saw them in action, so I'm very happy to see them here, and I can't wait to start playing Planet Coaster 2. Some things that I would love to see in more detail in the next deep dive are like the weather. I would love to see how weather impacts really the guests. I think they are saving that for the 4th deep dive. I would love to see snow. I would love to see like the more details of the dark interiors. And yeah, I just think Planet Coaster 2 looks like a great game already. I look forward to the next deep dives. I will stay on top of the news and share any videos with updates as they come. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.